Hello, Dobyns-Bennett High School Chamber Choir and directors. I'm Tim Banks. I'm Professor Emeritus from Samford University in Birmingham, Alabama, and this is our substitute for our being in person together for a few moments of clinic, of working together. And so, first of all, I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. Your singing is beautiful. Everything that I was able to say in the reviews, top-notch stuff. Beautiful sound, good intonation. Very, I like the contrast between the pieces. Everything is really quite good. And in fact, the point of its being all the intonation and the sound quality and so forth is so good that I think I'm going to spend most of my time with you specifically on either diction or vowel consonant issues. And so as a result of that, let me go ahead and address the very first piece, and that would be, of course, the viva on a side note here. I'm trying to get this up to my in my computer. There we go. I've got my score again now. On a totally side note, I was a schoolmate of Pat Liebergen, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. We both did doctoral work at the University of Colorado, and Pat did marvelous arrangements and editions of pieces. And so this being one of them, that he took from a Mozart opera. The opera, as you may or may not be aware, is Il Re Pastore, which is really the Shepherd King. It's a pretty early Mozart opera, and Mozart operas didn't have a whole lot of chorus work in them. That just wasn't part of the deal. So taking out a chorus like this, the meaning really of the wording has to do with we hail viva Duce, the leader, our leader, and the heavenly gift to our hearts. So essentially, it's just a rousing chorus in praise or greeting of a leader. The issue that I would take, I think very likely after I wrote what I wrote about the CH sound of cielo instead of cielo, it may be that the directors there have made the decision to go with Austrian Latin or Austrian Italian, really, and so that would be cielo. But if it were really just Italianate, I would say it would be cielo. The other thing, though, is to flip an R when you can. The English language, the American especially American, is what we call a rhotic pronunciation language. That is, we use R's. So get away from that as much as you can. So in areas like caro, if you think of the R almost as a D sound, caro, a flip or something other than caro, never that. And you're not doing it badly, but I just warn against it. Nostro cor, and a little flip at the end, cor. If you have problems, again, flipping the R, think of it as a D almost. And that is probably the biggest thing for me to say on that piece. In the second piece, Eric Whitaker's style is so fluid and so really beautiful in this work. It's a fairly earlier work of Whitaker's. I want to make sure that when you have pickup notes, that we understand them. They tended to sort of be disappearing or not very prominent. For example, the when you start singing the ladies, for instance, and here I'm rolling the score, so forgive me for that. And I've got somebody backing up in the background. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, we're back with it now. Sorry for the distraction in the background. Concerning Whitaker and the Seal Lullaby, beautiful pieces. Where I was saying, so sustained, very, very kind of slow harmonic motion, and beautifully sung. Thank you very much. Lovely, lovely, nicely played. Also with the accompanying artist. I would say two things quickly about it. One, I think I might have started saying something about the pickup notes at places like the beginning for "Oh Hush Thee." My suggestion would be for the altos to take the main bulk of the pickup note itself, since it's rather low and low A flat, and let the sopranos then sort of make it their own once you get to hush, the upper note. Now, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't try to sing the A flat. It's just that let's do a little trade-off if the altos have more in that low range than the sopranos. Just a thought. But especially we want to hear the pickup note, and then also the eighth note pickups. For instance, 18, 19, pickup from 19 to 20, and black and black. Even though it's a smooth texture, we still want to hear eighth notes as pickup notes as they are supposed to be sung. So let's give them a little bit more weight. And the funny part is that they almost invariably have some sort of a funny interval. In this case, the sopranos are sixth and the altos are fifth. So you've got a dissonance on the word black. Interesting stuff there. The other thing I would say about the Seal Lullaby from a diction standpoint is, and this is important at the beginning, but it's also very important for the entire ending. I like to suggest that an ooh is not really an ooh, like soul, but it's really an oh with my lips pulled around it. Ooh, so that I've got a lot of oral space. Ooh, ooh, a lot of roundness, richness there. You don't want to swallow it, and you certainly don't want to swallow your tongue. Ooh, that's bad news. Ooh, if everybody would just think of it as an oh with their lips closed around it. That is what I'm suggesting. Then we come to Mark Burroughs' really terrific piece, text from Carmina Burana. This is not liturgical Latin, folks. You know that much. So if it were, then we would be saying circa me. And this is where I'm probably going to get in trouble with the directors or somebody out there. So please do check somebody who has really fine medieval Latin moxie or ability. I'm relying on my old knowledge of classical Latin, and this would be much closer to classical Latin. What you're singing is circa, which we would say, we use the word circle and circus, but in classical Latin, all of those C's are hard. They're like K's. So if you have the second C that you have there, then the first C also probably ought to be kirkame, rather. And there's no diphthong there, mea, right? The only diphthongs in Latin are created by two consecutive vowels. Mea is not really a diphthong. It's two separate sounds. But back to the issue C. I think that the hard K sound makes the rhythmic vitality of this piece even better. Q kamea, Q kamea, Q kamea, pectora, pectora. See, there's another C. The issue of certain pronunciations are kind of up in the air in some cases. This one, the Carmina Burana, and the translation that I was able to make out. My heart's filled with sighs. I'm miserable because of your beauty, or something like that. Your eyes are bright as the rays of the sun, just as the lightning flashes in the darkness. This is love poetry. This is, oh my gracious, OMG, kind of stuff. So, Kilkamea pectora multa sunt, and then I need to get over to the other part of the yes. Der tu a pulcri tu dine, que. That one is que. Unlike Spanish, que, que, me, ledunt, misere. That is probably a voiced S, not misere, but misere. Okay. Tu e lu. C before an E or an I in Italianized Latin is ch. So I would be saying lucent, but then that brings back the argument about how you're supposed to pronounce the first C, C-I, circame or circame. So maybe this is lucent. Again, classical Latin. My example for classical Latin is we say Julius Caesar, but it is pronounced in classical Latin Julius Caesar. Yeah. AE in classical Latin is also I instead of like we do in liturgical Latin. Complicated, isn't it? It's just too much, man. But I'm still. Don't let these little nitpicky things stop you from singing, because obviously these are the things that I was able to pull out of your absolutely terrific performances. So I say, keep that up. Do more digging. Make sure that you're righter than right. There is no such thing in my estimation as perfection. There's only progress towards perfection. It's an unattainable goal. And so we're constantly trying something new and something fuller for ourselves, both from a tonal standpoint, choir tone, your singing, your ability. You have a very mature sound for your aged group. Bravo, brava. I just think that obviously things like the idea of the ooh will even help that. It'll enhance it, but don't go too far, because that's not mature sounding. It just sounds like you're singing through a pillow. So with all of that in mind, I hope this has been somewhat helpful, and God bless you all for keeping the choral art alive in this very, very difficult time of pandemic. I so wish I was there with you live, and maybe that'll happen down the line. This is actually my fourth time to be a judge for the Tennessee ACDA All-State, or rather State Choral Festival, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to hear your choirs again. So bravo, keep it up. Thank you. God bless.